12:27 is your time, and I am loving the playlist, by the way, which is proudly beat-up music on Iconic, celebrating Botswana, celebrating our presidents, our forefathers that came and paved way and made it even greater to be from this great republic of Botswana. Talking about this great republic of Botswana, there are also people that live amongst us and that we live together who are also great people and great royal, what's the word I'm looking for? Great role models, rather, that are also joining us in the hour. I'm talking about a good friend of mine and the show, Mr. Desmond Lunga from Men and Boys for Gender Equality. Dumela te raitsu likai.
Yeah, Torre.
How are you, sir?
Right to dumela. Dumedise le Batswana go lapeng.
Ra dumedisa nkgonne bile re itumetse gore tiro ga go etsa serious mo eleng gore le ha ile holiday ba bangwe ba tsamaile ba ile masimong, ba bangwe ba tsamaile ba ile di congressing mme gore bo tsere nako ya gore tle gore joina ka kwano retso ra itumela.
We tumela nna right to is serving the nation is what the purpose is for. Once you find your purpose in life, you found why you exist. So sometimes you don't even have to think twice, given an opportunity for you to be a part of changing somebody's life.
It's Iconic Men. Iconic Men happens every Monday right about this time on Iconic, where the team leader from Men and Boys for Gender Equality joins us to talk to us about all things concerning men, all the problems that we face, be it the challenges tse le gore tsamaya mo tsone tsela ya mitlo ga tsona le tsela ya mitlo re tsela ya mitlo le gore tsamaya mo go yone mme ga gore le gore re lebile tseo hela. Great men are also celebrated on this platform. We are streaming live also on our social media pages. We
are live on the Men and Boys for Gender Equality page.
Okay.
If not, I don't know. I see Joe shaking his head.
Yeah, like,
so
who told you that?
Never ever. I never ever.
All right. This will be broadcasted at a later stage.
It will be broadcasted
on platforms. But
yes.
Getting back to our conversation, Lunga, raising the boy child, why it matters now more than ever. Please tell us.
Thank you very much, Dollar. I think it's fitting for us when we start talking about men, especially on a show such as this. You remember we've talked about the Brothers Arise campaign, which we are embarking on, which we would want to work with men as a holistic being, you know, from their emotional well-being to the mental well-being to their health. But one thing that we know exists is that the foundation is always very, very important. So we cannot talk about men without talking about the boy child, because that boy child grows to become a man. So how much effort are we putting as a nation towards raising the boy child?
Listen, we're uncovering all this and more right here on Iconic. 12:30 is your time.
Fancy. Power to engage your world is on 90.8 FM.
All right, welcome back to Iconic Men, and this afternoon we are pleased to be having a conversation with the team leader at Men and Boys for Gender Equality, Desmond Lunga. Lunga joins us on Iconic every single Monday right about this time to talk all things men and their problems, challenges, and also we celebrate those men that are doing great in the society. Now, why the boy child needs attention? Firstly, do we need attention as Borre, and why?
Yes, Dollar. I think definitely, if there's one thing that we need is attention. Because
Rata attention.
We've been socialized to give other people attention. But you know, whatever somebody needs, you also need as a human being. Dola, I think the biggest concern for us really comes from the recent research that the World Bank did to show that academic wise, the boy child, the performance is going downwards. Secondly, abuse. Children between 0 and 18. Research has shown that physical abuse, young boys are the bearer of abuse more than the girls. So already it shows that we never turn we turn a blind eye to the boy child and always think maybe the girl child is the only one who's being abused. But it seems research is showing that they are actually more abused than the girl child, especially when it comes to physical abuse.
And I know this because more often than times we are taught as men or as boys to buckle up, man up. Be a tough guy.
It's always the socialization of a boy child to say, do not cry. So at an early age, you are told you are a boy, don't cry. You know, even if other friends or incidents happen, you are told don't cry. So already socializes the boy child not to cry for attention if they need attention. So now you would realize that even if they are abused, chances of them speaking out are less likely for them to do that, because already society says you are the boy child, you need to be strong. And then issues of discipline. We all believe that boys are more energetic, they like to explore, they like to climb trees, they like to do different stuff.
But they do though.
Yes, yes, they do that. So they are more explorative, but then that means that they then end up getting to get a lot of hiding and a lot of discipline. And usually that discipline comes from the actual corporate punishment, whereas there isn't a sit down and say, don't play with fire. If you play with fire, you get bent. You know, it's always too sharp. And the sad reality also is that a lot of that abuse comes from also men. So you are always, as a boy child, told your father is coming. The only thing is so there isn't that relationship between father and son where they can be able to talk about how was your day, what did you experience, this is right, this is wrong, do these things next time. Friendship is not there. So that's the reason why we really need to pay attention to raising the boy child.
Raising the boy child, why it matters now more than ever, is our conversation on Iconic this Monday. Feel free to call us up, 395-6962, +267 395-6962, if you have something to contribute. Now, role model or male role models, is there power in that?
Definitely. Dola, I think the biggest challenge that we see in society currently is the not putting a spotlight on positive male role models. So the only headlines that you're going to see are negative things that men have done. Men kills, men does this, men rapes, men, you know, you would never see positive role models being celebrated. You know, and this really comes from how we are socialized and how we relate in a community, where if I find you in the kitchen cooking for your family, already in the community, like, you know, if you are a responsible person who sticks to one partner, already got so already there's negative connotations to men that do positive things. So it's important for us now to try and shift that and have these positive men raise young boys that can want to be positive.
Lunga, do we have positive men out there that we can confidently come out and say, definitely.
The challenge is that we never put a spotlight to them. The challenge is that we assume or we say they are not men enough. So I always say the narrative about being a man is really has changed. We've been lied to. Because number one, you have feelings, you have love in you, you can take care of your kids. You know, it's something that we can do, and we do. It's just that it's not accepted in society. It's not defined under the definition of a man. So we need to really change that for us to be able to now re-socialize the boy child to understand that by me cleaning my house, it doesn't mean I'm not a man. By me cooking for my partner or cooking for my siblings, it does not mean I'm not a man. So these are things that now we need to have young men in the different spaces, because we do have spaces, Dola, where we interact with kids, be it as a school teacher, be it as a football coach, be it at I wanted to say at a church. At a church, there's Sunday school, there's all these platforms that already in our society, they are there for us to raise these young people. So it's important now as men to say, let's take advantage of these platforms and ensure that we socialize and raise children, especially the boy child, differently.
Is there a difference between being present and being actively involved?
Being present and being actively involved. I think really it depends on how you want to define it. But we need to be involved hands-on. Because a lot of
you can be there.
Because you can be there. But, you are there, but you're not playing your role. You are there, but you are the one that comes into only discipline. You don't know what type of food does your child like, what they want to be, what makes them happy, what makes them sad. So being involved hands-on, ensuring that you are starting a conversation with your child, ensuring that you allow them to express themselves, ensuring that you intentionally take time to say, today it's me and my son. We're going out. We're going to the farm. I need to understand what he wants, what he doesn't want. Being hands-on. And sometimes, we talked a bit about this last week to say, sometimes because you don't have the financial muscle, you think you don't have the right
to say anything.
And
I think
also,
at least it's made like that.
Yeah, and also, the mothers to these kids also play a role. Some of them will say, no, it's in Raho. I give my and Lirona, if you have somebody with somebody else, you don't want them interacting with that person, but you forget that this is that person's child, and they have a responsibility of coming in and raising their child. And how poso I think we need to be open about that.
Bonus dad.
My biological
just
father.
with my bonus dad.
And believe me, I've seen men.
Or my step-up dad.
Yeah, I've seen. No, my dad. You need to be very careful because they get to choose. And they know with the relationship. So if you keep on saying, no, this is your stepdad, usually they correct you. No, he's my dad. Because this is my dad. Yeah. So whoever plays that role, the child themselves would decide, this man is playing a major role. If the both of them are coming, even better. The young man has more positive role models that they can be able to learn from.
You're on Iconic Men, on Iconic with myself, Dolomac, our team leader from Men and Boys for Gender Equality, Desmond Lunga, who is our co-host in this first hour of the show. We're talking about actively being present also, as well as raising the boy child and why it matters more than ever. Let's go play the song. We'll be right back. 12:46 is your time. We're getting back to Iconic Men, our conversation this morning with this afternoon rather, with the team leader for Men and Boys for Gender Equality, Desmond Lunga, talking men, and raising the boy child and why it matters now more than ever. Lunga, let me welcome you back.
Thank you very much for having me, Dola.
Key lessons that should be taught to men. What do we need to learn as men? Because I've picked up that we usually learn the hard way.
I think number one for me that always tops the chart is self-love. I think from a very early age, we need to teach our boy children to love themselves. You can never be loved. Serious and know that you are valuable. And I've always used this joke to say, I think it's even time so that I'm saying this, Dollar, we might laugh about it, but you know why I say this? Because men end up taking their lives or taking the lives of the people that are in love with as if there's no other people that are there for them. So I think for me, self-love starts there, and then really understanding the value and importance that you bring into the world and your purpose. And then emotional intelligence would be one thing that is also important.
Okay.
Because we find ourselves battling with different challenges that come to us, and yet they're not necessarily supposed to be the end of us.
It's okay to cry.
It's okay to cry. It's okay not to have money. And it's okay if somebody. It's how you get sick. But it's now society and this culture of indoda that must provide. So the pressure to provide also puts pressure on men. So as a boy child, I think we need to understand from an early age to say it's okay not to have, and it's okay to say to somebody, I do not have, because sometimes because of the pressure you are forced even to help when you don't even have. I'm a victim of that. If somebody calls
I've got a friend like that. This friend will give you the last habit. Yeah.
So
go last come so ba tla be re kopana ba re ke eletso mon o letso nnela ha re nyane ke utlolla ke re go ntsa ke
and then being selfless, sometimes we need to at least look within first, without just giving out everything that we have. So for me those are critical issues, and I always use this example, especially with young boys, around emotional intelligence, to say you are playing with your friends, and then somebody would say to you, and that would be like a start for everything bad that is going to happen. The moment somebody says that, and the scenario, then that's a fight, and then you end up go police. And then now let's check on mom. Okay, Marnali Desmond dikwan meona inola ko fela tla se ka start. Ga utla sipe ga sa mom, but the fact ya gore motho o rile snanne sa ga mme, I didn't have the emotional intelligence to say, but even your brain sometimes says to you, Murori na ga ore mme, to try and protect you from how you're going to feel. So sometimes we need to listen to these and that's it. It stops you from.
It can stop you that trip to jail.
So being able to learn that as a boy from an early age, to say, whatever you say, if I take it to heart, it will harm me. But if I don't, then it won't.
And these words don't mean anything to me.
And it's not even going to harm my mother. My mother is at home. I'm actually better off if I ignore you and go back home. I'll be in a safe space.
Instead of and
then now now you are the wrong one. So you did not take it. So emotional intelligence there for young men. For me, if you are a man, wherever you are, wherever you have your kids, this is what you need to be teaching them.
Talk to us about respect and consent.
I want to respect Dola. I don't know. Respect is one of those key things, especially amongst men.
Hold on. All right, 12:53 is your time. I feel like we've been talking forever and ever and ever, but it's great that we're talking things that really would change someone's life. And Lunga, as we wrap up our conversation this afternoon, consent, respect and consent.
Yeah, I was saying those are two key things. If we could measure, we should be able to measure the boy child's respect and a sense of consent, because this would what define who he becomes. I always give an example when I talk to these kids, the kids that used to bully us, the kids that used to harass us, they are either the ones that we see at the shops by Mabakupa 5 Pula, or they're in prison, or they're dead. So, as young boys, sometimes they think being aggressive and being a bully helps, but respect is one thing that you need to be able to understand, to know, to respect yourself first, and then respect the person that you're around with. It goes now even a long way to issues that you need consent. I like to give examples. We always see women walking in the street, how we react, the sounds we make. For me, that's catcalling. That's disrespect already. Somebody would say, "Nya ke a matla kgotsa ke a moka." That is disrespect. Now, if you have that disrespect,
But we
it
all
means-
know how guilty we all have been as men.
Yes, we
Is
need
it
to
because
accept
we don't
and
know
hold.
better? We don't know better. Or we
We need to
didn't know
accept
better.
and hold ourselves to account, because definitely that is something that is wrong. Imagine if it is you walking and people had to call you and say things to you. How would you feel? And touch you. Consent. Now we go into consent and just touch you without your consent. So consent.
You already know how uncomfortable that is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So consent is really, really one thing that we need to talk to men about, especially when it comes even to sexual relationships. Because somebody is dating you does not mean that they've given you consent. Because somebody has got into your bedroom and they're in the same bed with you, it does not give you consent.
Matter of fact, that's how a lot of men ended up in prison.
Definitely. That's where we find a lot of men spending time, because I regular bojalwa re ile lapeng but ha ke sekere ke batla go robala le wena, and I even said stop, no. And those things, Dola, are critical for us to teach the boy child from a very early age. Let's start teaching them so that they understand.
Just the basics that no really does mean no.
Definitely. No is a no.
What is our role as the community as we close up our conversation and the call to action as we close after?
I think it's our responsibility to be honest with our boy children. It's our responsibility to pay attention to how they relate, what they do. It's our responsibility, especially as men, to educate them. Because if we don't give them the right information, they are going to get it in the streets and the information might not be right. So let's hold each other to account as men. Let's fill in for other men. Come in as a teacher, as an uncle, as a community member. Play that role in raising that boy child. And we will see even our GBV numbers going down. And I think in general, if people are interested in getting to know more, they should get in touch with us at Men and Boys for Gender Equality. Our Facebook page is Men and Boys for Gender Equality. Our telephone line, we also offer free counseling, is 395-7763. 395-7763. And the Brothers Arise is also now on YouTube. So you go to YouTube and search Brothers Arise. You should be able to see the podcast that we are developing and the content that we're getting from the radio program. We would put all that on the YouTube and Facebook page and the Twitter page.
Right, so tswella ka tiro entle we dirang ra leboga until we meet again next week, man.
Lo wena right to utswelle o ira ya lo re nela di platform tse di tshwanang le tse. Would also want to thank our sponsors, Napa, for allowing us to get this space to be able to come and educate the community.
Thank you, sir.